I made a video a while back about hunting for apartments in Shanghai, and it just so happens that really great friends of ours who have been stuck outside of China since last year, since Chinese New Year of last year, they literally left their home on a vacation. They went to Australia and they've not been back. So they finally decided not to return to Shanghai, and they wanted to know if I wanted to move into their place. It's bigger, it's nicer, so yeah, that's what I'm gonna prepare for today. Not very exciting. I'm gonna walk the city. I'm gonna look for packing tape and see what kind of adventures I can get into for the rest of the day. So I ordered a bunch of moving boxes online, so they delivered them last night and they're sitting here in the hallway. Yeah, so I know, really exciting stuff. Moving boxes and an adventure to find packing tape. But along the way, you're gonna see some of the city. I'll probably stop for lunch, possibly dinner, depends on how long I'm out. So yeah, let's enjoy a Shanghai pre-moving day. Moving truck, but not my moving truck. Yes, I don't know exactly the move-in date yet. Still trying to work that out. I haven't even started to pack. Like you just saw, the boxes just arrived. So I've moved. This will be the 35th move, and I'm 47 years old. So I have moved quite a bit throughout my life. Now, some of those moves were just across town, like this will be. Some of them were different cities, some of them were different countries, obviously. I'm living here in China. Different parts of the state, in California, where I'm from. But my adult life has been colored by moving, mostly for work, almost all of it for work, to be honest. And yeah, so I guess I'm a pro at this point. That doesn't mean I'm very organized with my move. I'm not. I just throw everything in boxes and I sort it out at the new place. I know a lot of people that go through and they label every box and they're super surgical with their preparation for moving. That's not me. My wife is more that way, but she is in California, so she will not be helping on this move. This will be all of my doing for better or for worse, probably for worse. So I uploaded a podcast a few weeks back, and the title of which is something like when times get tough, or let me get hit by a car here. Yeah, when times get tough, or when things get hard, I think was the name of it. And you know, if you guys follow me on Instagram or any of my other social media platforms, then you know that I've been separated from my family for, it's getting close to a year now. So tomorrow, let me check the date. Yeah, tomorrow it'll be 11 months since I've seen my wife and kids. Long story short, when the height of the pandemic was kicking off here in China, everybody was freaking out, including myself, because we didn't know what to think. There was very little information. And our thought process was, well, at least go home so we could be with, our doctors, our family, stuff like that. I stayed because of work and because of our dog, Frankie. And we've been separated ever since. So we were in the process of applying for their dependent visas and getting towards the last stages of that. And then the US COVID case spike happened in September, and they've shut down now the approval process for dependent visas here in China. And I don't blame them. There's 200,000 cases, 100 to 200,000 cases of COVID every single day right now in the United States. There's over 1,000 people dying a day. in the United States. Keep this in mind, only 3,000 people died in China during the entire year-long pandemic now. Even if those numbers are not 100% accurate, there's no way it's 1,000 a day, right? Like the US is seeing. So anyways, whatever. It is what it is at this point. But in that podcast, I go into some of my practices, some of the things that I do to try to stay sane, keep my mind off of certain things, like how much I miss my children, and what I might be missing out on. Well, not might, what I am missing out on. Just I've missed an entire year of their life, and I missed an entire year of their life the first year I moved to China, because we weren't ready to take them out of school in the US at that point. So over the last 5 years, I've basically missed, at least 2 years of my kid's life as far as being there. I mean, obviously we stay connected, and I know what's going on and stuff like that, but it's just, anyways, it's super difficult. So anyhow, the podcast episode that I uploaded on my podcast channel was all about what do I do to keep my mind off of things, to not get super depressed, to not get super negative when going through tough times. This is one of the hardest times of my life right now, to be quite honest. Separated from my children is really, really, really tough. But I can't let it affect me. So the things that I do is I do stuff like this. I get out into nature. I walk in my favorite park. It's across the street from our place. This is what I'll miss about moving, is I'll miss access to this park. I'll have to find a new park. So little simple things like getting out into nature, exercise practice, which I am always up and down on. I'm not the best person to listen to when it comes to developing any sort of like a fitness routine. There are better people online on YouTube than me to talk about that for sure. But I never quit. I keep trying. So anyhow, I do things like this. I read a lot. I've read, I think I'm at 32 books now for the year. I'm not gonna hit my 52, which is, I don't wanna say my average, but it's definitely, I definitely hit in the 40 to 55 range almost every year. And I'm gonna be a little bit behind on this year because I had a lot of other projects that I worked on at the beginning of the year. Plus I moved to a different location in my work, so free time is, even though the family's not here and you think I'd have more free time, the way I've used that time has been a little different this year. So I haven't gotten as much reading done, but I still get a ton compared to, I guess, most people. I've read that most people in America read less than a book a year, which breaks my heart, to be quite honest. So I read a lot. I meditate, usually twice a day. But definitely 20 minutes in the morning or at night. That helps keep my mind centered. That keeps me focused on the positive. That allows me to constantly zoom out for perspective. And then I do a lot of self-development stuff. Take courses, read books like I've already said, but then watch videos online, listen to a ton of podcasts. And a lot of it has to do with positivity, mindset, personal development, some politics thrown in. I listen to a few political and business podcasts, but in general, I try to keep it around human development, personal development, stuff like that. Because again, that keeps me in the right frame of mind. So, and then I see friends every once in a while, not as much as I would like, but enough, I think, to keep me somewhat social. I've got a couple good friends here. And once a month or so, I make sure that I have a nice evening with them, dinner at their place, or we meet at a restaurant, have a few drinks, a few laughs. And yeah, that's what I try to do. It's super simple, but I think what happens when we go through hard times or difficult times in our life, we tend to dwell on it. And when we get in that mental loop, and it's just that constant looping of whatever the situation is that we're struggling with, and it creates depression, it creates anxiety, it creates this super toxic mental environment. There's a kid running towards the street. Hey buddy, whoa, whoa. Hey bud.
Oh my God, no.
Little guy was gonna run on the street. Okay, he did not run in the street. That was good. He was kind of slowing down, and I was gonna grab him. It's that parent reflex, you know. Anyways, so I find if I do these types of things, just get out on the town and walk, keep myself distracted, but in a healthy, positive way, then I don't fall into like a deep, you know, depression or anxiety or stuff like that. And I think far too many of us just get consumed by it because we don't force ourselves to break out of our certain routines or our certain habits, especially when we're feeling low. I mean, it makes sense, right? When you feel terrible, when you're depressed or you have anxiety about something, the last thing you want to do is push yourself to go do more. But I'm telling you, the secret is to lace up your shoes, grab your backpack, grab a camera, or whatever your hobby is, and just get out on the town. It doesn't matter if you've got, you know, a grand to-do list. Like, again, my to-do list today is literally to buy rolls of packing tape and to find a cool place to eat lunch. That's it. Not very exciting. But along the way, I'll probably listen to a podcast. I'm gonna film a vlog. I'm gonna take some pictures. Hopefully find my packing tape. I'm gonna probably learn something, see something cool in the city that I probably haven't seen before. You know, all of those things is what, all of those little things add up and they make life worth living. And they remind you that your life is not your all-consuming problems. One or two or three major problems in your life does not define you, does not define us. We are way more complex than that. So, but we can forget it if we just sit home on the couch or we stay in bed and we just ruminate on all the negativity. So yeah, that's what I do. Hang that in the entryway of the house, in the new place. Well, like I was saying, super cool little place I'd never seen before. And I walk down the street all the time. I'd never notice it. I guess it's not that kind of drugs. That was a dad joke. Sorry. So, yeah, I'm a big fan of public parks. I grew up across the street from one in Fresno, California. My house, my family house was right across the street from Woodward Park. So if you know Fresno, you know Woodward Park. And I was literally like across the street from this beautiful, very large park. Had trails, running trails, you know, you could like do picnic, like day picnic, they had like barbecue pits, stuff like that. And I grew up in the park, to be honest. I used to go over there probably starting in 4th or 5th grade. We would just take our bikes over there, and then I would run there, training. When I was running cross country in high school, I would train there. Spent summer there. I'd go on like dates there with my girlfriends. When I was younger, I didn't have any money, so we would just go to the park and walk and sneak off in the bushes and whatever. Anyhow, it's not as exciting now going to a park when you're 47 years old. I'm not sneaking off in the bushes with anybody, but I still like coming in. So I mentioned this earlier when I was walking through the park that's across the street from our house, but getting out into nature is, it is almost a cure-all, for me at least, as far as emotions, peace of mind, mindset, whatever you want to call it. But anytime I can get out to like a park or to the ocean, not in Shanghai, that's not happening at least easily. But when we used to live in California, we would be in Tahoe or Yosemite or Napa, or we would go to the coast, Santa Cruz or Carmel, Monterey. And even though I'm not super adventurous, compared to a lot of people who climb mountains and do extreme sports and stuff like that, but we would regularly get out into nature, be it trail runs or just hiking. Like I said, going to some of those other places like Tahoe, like Lake Tahoe, Donner Lake. I grew up there. We would go every summer. Every summer as a kid we would go, and we would spend 2 or 3 weeks, and every day I would just play outside. And then when I got older and I was training for my cross country and track, my dad and we would run around Donner Lake every day, which was, I think it was like 8 miles. It was crazy at somewhat altitude. And I got in crazy good shape during those summers because, there's nothing else to do. There was no internet. I would read books. We watched a little bit of TV, but I think we could only get like 4 channels up at the cabin, so there wasn't much on. So we would read books, play outside. That was pretty much it. It was freaking awesome. Like, looking back, it was some of the best times of my life. Didn't appreciate it enough, for sure. But now, getting back to the topic that I was talking about earlier about when, when times get tough or when you're dealing with something that might be a struggle for you, I recommend getting out into nature. Just go sit in the park. Go find a place that's surrounded by trees. And, this isn't nature. This is in the middle of Shanghai. 25 million people live in this city, and I'm looking at paved trails, and I'm sitting on a man-made bench here. But at least it's a little sliver of nature. There's trees, and there's squirrels, and there's birds, and people are walking their dogs and stuff. It's just a little bit of the natural world, and I think that works of magic on the human condition. And if we isolate ourselves too much in the artifice of human-created living spaces and things that we buy and consumer culture and all these types of things, and look, all those things have their place, and I own stuff just like other people, but it can hijack your life, and you can forget that the important things are actually quiet, simple, beautiful moments. And most of that, if not with your loved ones, then it's just with nature. As I say this, there's a big tractor driving down the street, probably to tear up some nature. Anyways. the grounds of the Intercontinental Hotel. And this is a historical site, and this well right here behind me, so you can get this in the shot there. Sorry, this thing's blocked on my face, so anyways, I'll cut away to it so you can get a better view of it. But this was a site of an old Taoist temple somewhere. I guess, I don't know exactly where the remains of the temple are, or maybe that's all that there is this well. But it's 600 to 700 years old, and it's here on the grounds of the Intercontinental Hotel now. So I just walked in. I'm just walking the grounds. It's beautiful. Now let's see if I can find the hotel bar. That'll be the ultimate test of if this place is quality or not, so I can find a bar. There seems to be a wedding going on. Maybe I'll try to crash the wedding. Well, I don't know them, but beautiful couple, and looks like they're going to have a really beautiful wedding. So, yeah, pretty cool. Here, I got you a new toy. Do you want to play with him? Do you like him? I don't think she likes him. All right, guys, so I'm home, so I'm gonna end the video here. Thanks for joining me on my little adventure today. Again, I can't recommend enough. Get outside, just put some miles under your shoes when you're feeling a little low, or if you're going through, some sort of a problem. And look, I'm not trying to minimize like clinical depression or anything like that. That's not the point. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about we all go through ups and downs, right? And dealing with my family being gone and not seeing them for nearly a year, I've had to do a bunch of different types of strategies to just make myself feel sane some days. So what I have found that works for me was a day like today. Get out, do your hobby, get in some adventures, big or small, and just get some fresh air into your life. It definitely helps. How did you like your picture taken? You're so cute, but you're so cute.